All right, I'm gonna call this public hearing to order at 7 o'clock. This public hearing is for an application submitted by Ryan Foley for a zone change. I guess, we'll do attendance and seating of alternates if necessary.
Dee Brown, regular member.
And I'm Dalton Jack here, vice chair.
Brown, commission member. Paul Schneider, alternate.
Jesse Bunce alternate.
Okay, and do I need to seat both or just one?
You can see them both.
We'll see
if
them
you
both.
want.
Okay, we're gonna seat both Walt and Jesse tonight. Okay, so for opening remarks, I don't have any, and go ahead, guys.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Martin Connor. I'm a planner with about 40 years of experience in land use planning. I'm certified with the American Institute of Certified Planners, certified zoning officer, and wetlands officer. I'm here tonight, as you said, for a proposed zone change for Ryan Foley and Whitney Tyler at 520 West Main Street. I have submitted a planning report, which I hope you have copies of, but I'd like to read that into the record if I may. The proposal, once again, is Ryan Foley and Whitney Tyler application for a zone change to rezone 50.4 acres of the 54.63 acres of property they own at 520 West Main Street. Their proposal will change the 6.4 acres of land from RA residential agricultural zone to I industrial zone. The area of their property proposed to be changed to I industrial zone is shown on a map titled Zoning Location Survey, prepared to show the proposed zone change of a portion of property of Ryan Foley and Whitney Tyler, 520 West Main Street, North Canaan, Connecticut, dated April 2024 by Timothy G. Wiley, Jr., land surveyor. The purpose of the proposed zone change is to rezone the 6.4 acres of land to allow the owners of the property to develop that section of the property for industrial development. The 6.4 acre parcel is adjacent to the town of North Canaan property where the transfer station is located. The town's property is zoned I industrial, same as what we're proposing. Article 6, Roman numeral 6, table of uses, table 1, lists the uses that are permitted in the I zone, subject to height and area requirements contained in Article Roman numeral 7 and all other applicable requirements of the zoning regulations. The property owners intend to construct a commercial building for their electrical contracting business should their zone change request be approved. An electrical contractor's building is a permitted use in the I zone. The subject property. The subject property is suitable for industrial development. It does not contain inland wetlands or watercourses. As stated above, it's located next to the town's transfer station. The property owners will continue to own the land to the east and south of the 6.4 industrial parcel. They plan to continue to use the remainder of the land, which is 48.19 acres, for residential and agricultural purposes. Their residence is currently located on the remainder of the parcel, and they would be the property owners most affected by the zone change and future development. Their remaining land provides more than adequate buffer to other residential agricultural properties nearby. Located directly across the street is property owned by Triumph Airfields LLC. This land is currently used as an airport. Typically, airport property is zoned industrial. However, this airport property is zoned residential agriculture. The section of the applicant's property proposed for the zone change is currently vacant and mostly level. There is a large berm located between the proposed industrial land and the town's transfer station. There is an existing driveway into the area proposed to be rezoned industrial. There are good sight lines exiting this driveway onto West Main Street. The subject property will be more than 3 times the minimum 60,000 square foot lot size requirement for the I zone. Any future industrial development of this parcel will require site plan approval from you folks in accordance with the regulations. Conformance with the Plan of Conservation and Development Comprehensive Plan. In my opinion, the commission can make a finding that the proposed zone change is consistent with the Town of North Canaan Plan of Conservation and Development 2018, commonly the POCD, and comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan consists of the town zoning regulations and zoning map. The POCD encourages business development. The rezoning of this section of property will encourage economic development within the town of North Canaan. The POCD encourages and welcomes new businesses into the community, and the rezoning of this parcel will offer an opportunity for more businesses to serve the people of North Canaan. When ruling on a proposed zone change, the commission exercises a legislative function. The decision to rezone a parcel of land is site-specific, and it does not set a precedent. The commission is only deciding whether this land is suitable for industrial development and that it does not constitute spot zoning. It cannot be considered spot zoning since it's located adjacent to the town's transfer station that's zoned I industrial. The 6.44 acres of industrial land will be more than 3 times the minimum size of the lot in the industrial zone. Conclusion, the subject 6.44 acres parcel of land is suitable for industrial development. Its location next to the town's transfer station and across the street from an airport make it more than appropriate for industrial development, more appropriate for industrial development than for residential agricultural development. It cannot be considered spot zoning due to its size and location next to other zoned I industrial land. The property owners will retain 48.19 acres of residential agricultural land that will provide more than an adequate buffer to the proposed 6.44 acre parcel zone to be zoned industrial. I urge the Planning and Zoning Commission to make a finding that the rezoning of the 6.44 acre parcel of property to I industrial is both consistent with the Town of North Canaan Plan of Conservation and Development 2018 and the comprehensive plan. I would urge the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve the zone change and make it effective the day after the date of publication of the commission's decision to approve the zone change. Mr. Chairman, if I could I just ask my client Ryan Foley just to say a couple of brief words?
Sure.
So I was born and raised here, trying to build my business here. I'm just looking to keep my roots here. Anything I could do to, make that happen. Yeah.
That's
Great.
Like a mix. Wasn't happy about that. I think it was important.
Yeah.
But I think all you folks know Ryan and know he's a local businessman and know that he means right for the community. And it'll give him an opportunity to grow his business should you make that decision.
Thank you.
So no.
All righty, do we have any public comment in person here on this matter?
Robert Sprague, 28 Sodom Road. And I live adjacent to a piece of property that was zoned industrial commercial several years ago. And I have suffered the consequences since then. because there was commercial activity at that property. Because it was and it was in an agricultural area, so. I don't know how somebody can say they determine, who determines, like this gentleman said, that it's not spot zoning, because it is. And I don't know where he gets that definition, because it is spot zoning. You changing the usage of property from residential to industrial commercial. So that is definitely spot zoning. So I'd like to know, I'm not gonna ask any questions, but it is. And it's nothing personal, but if we can do this in this situation, regardless of what it's adjacent to, what's gonna stop it from happening everywhere in the town? And I think a residential commercial would be adequate. I don't think you need industrial commercial. And I don't know why you would request that, because that's asking a lot for the board to make that decision. Residential commercial would be adequate for you to run a business from there. That's what I know. And like I said, this has happened before. And I'm a personal recipient of when this happens, and you end up living in a residential area with commercial activity, and that's not quality of life issues, and that's what the zoning board is supposed to be there. And this kind of spot zoning does not promote quality of life issues for people who live in this areas that are spot zone, and the usage is changed. The zoning is put in place for a specific use, not to be changed. Why have zoning regs if you change them? Unless everybody's on board for it. I mean, I don't, like I said, Ryan's a great guy, he's got a great business, but I think that to push this to industrial commercial is too much. I think that he could probably do, I don't know what he wants to do, and like I said, it's none of my business. But to do industrial commercial is a totally different animal than residential commercial. So he could, not that I know, but like I said, I would not be so strongly opposed to this if I wasn't exposed to this exact type of zoning that has adversely affected my quality of life issues in this town and other issues. So that's why I think it's not a good idea. If he wants to proceed with whatever else to do business there, whatever way he works that out, that's fine. But to promote and to install what this gentleman says is not spot zoning is not correct, because it is spot zoning. You're changing usage, that's spot zoning. I don't care if it's up against the Rock of Gibraltar. You're changing the usage. Oh, whatever, I'm not gonna argue with anybody. That is in fact what you're doing, is that, I think I'm right in what I'm saying. You're changing the usage of the property from residential, agricultural, whatever it is, to industrial commercial. In an area that's residential, agricultural. It is adjacent to a property that was done because for the whole people in the town of North Canaan to be able to have a place to have a transfer station. How can you put a private business? I mean, it's just not the same thing. So those are reasons why I would be opposed to it. And I think that in the big expanse of all this, that if zoning is in fact here for quality of life for the residents of this town, then they should be looking for what the residents want. And these are not, by doing these types of things and changing usages and looking the other way with stuff is not the way to help the people in this town who are the taxpayers. And I'm one of them. And I really feel that I don't want to make it anything more than what it is. And I don't want to hold anybody back from developing their business. And I know that Brian has a good business, and that's great. And I'm not, nothing personal, like I said, but if I wasn't, like I said before, if I wasn't exposed to this kind of zoning where I live, I wouldn't even be feeling strongly about it. But I know what has happened. The man brought a huge machine in. It was loud. It was dusty, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but when you change usage, you allow that kind of thing to happen. And it's not okay for the residents in this town to be exposed to that. They're already exposed to enough truck activity in this town, and they get nothing back on it. So I personally feel the whole zoning regs, especially when it comes to mining regulation and stuff, needs to be looked at, revamped, so that in fact the zoning board is here for the quality of life issues that it's supposed to be here for, not for anything else. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? All right, do we have anybody on Zoom? Okay, I have a letter written. Dear Planning and Zoning Commission, I am writing about my neighbor Ryan Foley's zoning request. I live at 331 West Main Street across from his property. Ryan is a good neighbor. I value him as a part of our community. I support his entrepreneurial spirit, and I think we should help local business owners when we can. I would like to ask the commission to consider keeping his land zone as residential, but granting a variance that would allow Ryan to run his business from his property. This way, we can support Ryan's entrepreneurial goals while keeping our neighborhood residential in character. Please make sure any decision follows proper environmental guidelines and fits well with our area. I believe there's a way to help Ryan pursue his business while maintaining what makes our neighborhood a good place to live. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Ian Edwards. Okay. All right, at this point, entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Could I just have a last word of that?
Sure.
I could. I just want to make sure that the commission's had an opportunity to see where the 6.44 acres we're talking about is. It's shown on this map here, which we submitted with our application. And it clearly shows that Ryan is going to maintain all the property right around this. He'll be clearly the one most affected by any zone change. Secondly, any development that he does, it's a vacant piece right now, he's got to come before the commission with the use. You'd have the opportunity to review any proposed building or use that's going to go on in the property. The health district would have to approve it. You have to be go through your regular revisions that you look at when you consider any application. And just the word spot zoning, it means zoning a small piece of property that is not surrounded by property of a similar zone nature. That's what it means. And you are not setting a precedent. You're just looking at this property itself, no other property.
So it is right up against the town.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the berm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, this is Ryan's property that's all left.
Yep,
So
I know
He's
the
got-
property pretty good.
he's got the transfer station, his own property, and then
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you proposing any water or sewer or anything in here?
No, not right now. It doesn't even run that far.
No, I know, septic system or a well.
he would have to come back with you with any development to include, you know, the health district approval and
You guys see that?
Yeah. We can look at it during our meeting. Will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, all signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. That concludes our public hearing for tonight. We're gonna open our regular meeting at 7:18. Again, the attendance is gonna be the same. Pete Brown, myself, Dalton Jack here, Cooper Brown, Jesse Bunch, and Walt Schneider. Opening remarks.
I'd like to make a motion to add the Dunkin' Donuts application to the old business section.
Is there a second on that? Second. All right, and all signified by putting, all signified by saying aye
Aye.
and opposed? Okay, and motion carries. We'll add the Dunkin' Donuts application under old business. Okay. Approval, amendments to the minutes. Everybody got to read last meeting's minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all signify by saying aye
Aye.
and opposed. Thank you, motion carries. All right, CEO report.
Due to some medical issues, I haven't been here in the office for well over a month, and I'd like to publicly thank both Mike, Cheryl, and Paul for covering everything they possibly could to keep the office running the way it should. There were permits issued, one for a roof and front entry and footings for a fireplace on 34 Turnpike North and a storage building out in Green Acres. We received the approval back from COG for the text change for the mining communications. So we should schedule the public hearing for that for September 8th. it to a negative. We couldn't find that text change because, and hearing because it hadn't come back from the contract, the last point, so it should be put in there if we want to move forward. Other than that, I really don't have anything. I've been digging through stuff and a lot of stuff that could have gone a whole lot worse if it could have gone a whole lot. They did a great job covering and helping you.
We're glad you're here.
Yes. All right, well, thank you, George. All right, under new business. Presentation of Nova Farms business model with consideration for future text amendment associated with cannabis production.
Despite George's talk about absence, he was quite responsive when I reached out to ask to be added to the agenda this evening. I'm here with Nova Farms just to have a very friendly dialogue about some changes to the cannabis legislation and about their business model. We hope you've had a chance to look at the farm deck that was sent around.
Yep.
Great.
And I have this topic here.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Anybody want a copy here?
You all, I can grab them. Did you all get them?
Yes,
Have a-
yes, I read through them last night. You guys need
Zach
one?
is here with me.
Okay.
So my name is Zach Allen. I'm one of the co-founders of Nova Farms. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I know cannabis overall can be, very uncertain, uncharted territory for a lot of people. Change is scary. We are closer to a traditional agriculturally based farm than any other, style of cannabis cultivator. We plant with a tractor. We're out there, pounding in T-posts all through the summer, trellising our plants, harvest by hand. We are, also an active farm in the fact that we have Highland cattle, chickens, pigs, goats, things of that nature. We have bees, over 1 million bees at our farm in Western Mass, accounted to myself. So happy to bring all that stuff here. Ultimately, we want to be good neighbors to our neighbors directly, potentially around us, but also good community partners. We engage in community cleanups, things of that nature, sponsor local events, our local trades. We certainly want to be welcomed here. And I know, like I said, it can be very uncharted territory for people who are not familiar with our industry. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay,
I gotta.
go ahead,
ask,
Pete. Yeah.
The elephant in the room is what everybody seems to have an issue with is the odor. If you could explain how that would be handled or.
Absolutely. So we plant in the ground, in the sun. We're not confined in a closed space. A lot of indoor cultivators, they'll have that condensed smell build up over time, and then doors will open, gaskets will, crack or leak or whatever. That odor will then permeate the air. It's very pungent because it gets condensed. We're an open air environment, and it actually naturally dissipates. There could be a time where there could be a smell, but it's a, kind of a perfect storm scenario where there has to be wind involved, humidity, and there may be some drift, but it's also typically only during the time in which we harvest, which is in this area in October. So the remainder of the year, all throughout the year, we're pretty boring.
When does marijuana grow? I don't understand that. I'm sorry,
Yep.
it might be very.
No, that's absolutely. There's
Okay.
definitely no other questions at all. So we'll plant typically June 1st when we aim for. Mother Nature may have some other plans, so we kind of have to roll the punches in that regards, but October is when we harvest. So
Okay,
we grow throughout the summer season, into the early fall, and then chop, and then we're kind of more or less, just doing touch-up work around the property, holding over until the next season. Yep,
thank you.
absolutely.
Anybody else got any questions?
Just a quick follow-up.
Yep.
When you go through Sheffield, you definitely can smell it.
Yes.
Is that coming from the building on the left side?
Yes. We personally never had an odor complaint for our facility. I'm actually happy to invite all of you out there. It's not too far from here, so anytime if you want to line up a tour, I'd be happy to show you around. Something that we've done with other townships, kind of puts everyone at ease. No one believes me, when I say I swear it doesn't smell. They walk up and they're like, "Wow, I really thought it would." You have to be very close to the plant to really pick up on it. But the indoor cultivators, where that smell does condense and then leak out, it has been problematic. And that's what most people think of, because for a long time, outdoor cultivation was not allowed. It was completely illegal. Same with indoor cultivation, but they try to hide it indoors, and then first thing people pick up on is the smell, because it's condensed, leaks out. There's other odor mitigation practices that could be used indoors, that are used indoors. We don't have to, because it, like I said, it's an open air environment, naturally dissipates.
It might take you up on that.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah. Do we have a way of getting a hold of you, George? Got your contact information? or-
I believe, through
You-
documents.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I was remiss, I took it for granted that I happen to know so many of you. I'm Janelle Mullen, I'm a local area land use consultant, as you know, we've worked together in the past. If the commission seems open to it, what we would propose is to come back at a future meeting with a possible text amendment to present that would be very specific to outdoor cultivation and would enable Nova Farms potentially to also start to look for agricultural land for their purposes.
Anybody else got any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys. Under old business. Discussion on possible action on the zoning change for the application for Ryan Foley at 520 West Main. I am very with Mike on his idea that waiting a month to act on public hearings are a very good thing, because a lot of things come out within a month. With that being said, I think a lot of everything was pretty well spelled out here for us tonight. But I'm happy to do whatever else anybody else wants to do on that.
I'm on board with that for sure.
Um,
But we're always glad we did.
Yeah. Anybody have anything to say on the matter?
Yeah.
All right. Do we have to vote on that to move that? No, we're not doing any action on it.
You want to vote to table it
No.
for next month?
Oh, we do have to vote to table it to next month? Okay, all right.
It can't hurt.
Make a motion to table it. Next month's meeting.
Second it.
Okay. All signify by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. All right, and now we have the Dunkin' Donuts application that was here for last month. We had the public hearing on it. I think pretty much everything is went through. Does anybody have anything on that they'd like to add? No?
No.
Okay, do we want to vote on that here tonight, guys?
Certainly not. I'll make the motion
Okay,
to approve. With the application of the Dunkin' Donuts. I don't have the address.
I don't either.
You can put the address. It's like, I'm not sure what it is.
Well, there's a little bit with the accessory that might change the 14.
14 East Main.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of approving the Dunkin' Donuts application? Special permit application 017-25. Signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, is there any other business to come from the commission here tonight? I think we have to set a public hearing date for the text change for the mining, right? If somebody wants to make that motion for me
I'll make it.
in a second,
I'll second it.
we gotta make that, it's gonna be September 8th, you said?
That's September 8th.
So all in favor of setting a public hearing for September 8th for the text changes for mining operations, is that mining communications? Signified by saying aye and opposed? All right, motion carries, and that will be September 8th at 7 o'clock. All right. Is there anything else from anybody in the public here tonight? Anything on Zoom? All right. Okay.
Hi, during the public hearing for Dunkin' Donuts, it was stated that any approval would be conditional on a traffic study. I'm just asking if you received that.
We did not, but I was told that that wouldn't matter to our, approval. That was something separate with the state.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All signify by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.